It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Bantha Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine indeed. It's a week where people have been getting suspended from their jobs for saying the wrong thing, so why not go live for an hour and see if we can do the same. We've got a whole load of content to get through tonight, so let's find out what we're going to be talking about. Latest updates from Star Wars Celebration, all the news from Cantina, Fun Day and Boonta Eve. RSVLTS are coming to the UK, Mando Mania is continuing, Denuo Novo have got a Bo-Katan Kryze Helmet out, the Galactic Starcruiser is cutting back on its flights, we'll be debating that, and we've got all the news on Star Wars films, or lack of, as Rogue Squadron, Kevin Feige's project's gone, Bob Iger's talking about having to be careful, and John Favreau's talking about post Rise of Skywalker. Marvel Comics have got their June solicitations out. We'll be checking them out. We'll have our first look at A Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi Anniversary Special, and we'll end the show by reviewing Mando Season 3, Episode 2. And join me to discuss that and a whole lot more. It's not Gary Lineker, but it's Matt Booker and Mark Newbold from fathertracks.com. Not a suspension yet, but we'll get there.
Evening.
It's coming.
Matt, you've been away on your travels abroad. Did you win anything in Vegas?
No, just a smile. I had a winning smile there, that was it.
Just a winning smile. That's all you need. Mr. Newbold, busy week for you news-wise on fathertracks.com?
Very busy. We're full on busy. Evening, Jack. Yeah, full on busy, really busy. It's I think we've hello Phil. Yeah, we've been full on. Yeah, loads of news. I've had a few very, very busy days, and the hits are good, so it's all positive stuff. Evening, Marcus.
I've got Spencer in the house as well, which is great timing, because the first thing we've got to speak about tonight on the show is Boonta Eve 4. We've announced the first round, I guess, have been announced. Alan Flying, John Coppinger, Tina Simmons. Great first batch of guests there.
Absolutely, really good batch of guests. Alan, I interviewed, years ago at a show called Star Mania in Swansea, which was a bit of a legendary event. And so I've seen him around, but not properly since. So looking forward to seeing him there. Hello, Paul. John Coppinger, obviously a bit of a Return of the Jedi legend. And Tina, I've never met, so I'm very much looking forward to meeting Tina. So it's good to see these signers coming to Boonta Eve 4.
Yeah, didn't John also play Axel Krevin in Phantom Menace, I think, I seem to remember.
Yeah, and he's Horrocks Rider as well. The big creature in Jabba's sort of balcony, yeah.
And we've all got our tickets for the event already. I'm looking forward to it. It's
going to be John was at the Boonta.
A great way to kick off celebration weekend. And to celebrate that, in fact, we've got a competition up on fathertracks.com. Mr. Newbold, you can tell us all about it.
Yeah, competition started tonight about 2 2 hours and 5 minutes ago, and we've already got entries coming in, which is wonderful. So there you go. So click on that, fantatrax.com/Boonta. It will take you to our competition page when you have to answer a really, really, really tricky question. I don't think many people are going to get right, but if you get it right, you've got the chance to win tickets. And next Sunday, we'll pick the tickets, we'll pick the winners rather, and we'll announce it on the site, and we'll probably announce it on here as well. So you've got a week to get your entries in. So hurry up, because that event is completely sold out. So this is really a rare chance to get hold of a ticket to Boonta Eve for.
Yeah, but only enter if you win. Only enter if you can attend. It's the day before celebration.
Yes.
Are you going to tease us with what the question is?
Can I remember what the question is? I think if I remember rightly, the question was, who won the Boonta Eve pod race in The Phantom Menace? Was it Anakin Skywalker, was it Sebulba, or was it Mars Duo? Which, I mean, if you know the answer to that, you're either a chocoholic or a Star Wars fan.
There you go. And of course, Boonta Eve. It was Boonta Eve this past week on The Mandalorian.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Wasn't that cool? All those fireworks. I hope Spencer wins the competition, otherwise he can't come. Yes, it was Boonta Eve on Mandalorian. How cool to see all of that. Seeing Tatooine's always cool, but seeing Boonta Eve actually happen, which is a hut holiday, by the way, as we talked about on Making Tracks reaction chats. It's a hut holiday. Very special day. Yeah.
So have I got to log into isitaholiday.com to find out what day?
And there we go. You're breaking broadcast rules already there, Matt.
Yeah. Marcus Stone's going to be his first celebration. He can't wait for it either. But do we know what happens on Boonta if it's Boonta Eve?
I don't know. I think it's just a good excuse for a party. It was when it was a hut called Boonta who was elevated to godhood in their culture.
Right.
So it's celebrating that. But what they do, I mean, obviously fireworks, fast speeder races. So I don't know. I would imagine lots of drinks are imbibed, and it seems to take place for a week. If I picked it up correctly, I think it's quite a long celebration thing. So, if you're going to do it properly.
And Boba Fett's in charge for this one.
Yeah,
he is.
Mailer on fruit all round. Yeah.
Holy ho, Mr. Naylor.
We'll be talking Mando towards the end of the show. It's going to how we're going to wrap up talking episode 2 of that, but. We're talking Celebration, Boonta Eve, the day before Celebration, and then Celebration kicks off. And we've had a lot of announcements this past week. First up, the Artist Alley, we started seeing the artwork from that, and the artists announced a couple of examples up on the screen there. A lot of lovely art. Not a lot necessarily celebrating Return of the Jedi, but a really quite broad church of Star Wars content.
You go first, Matt.
There's a good range of pieces. I mean, there's a couple I quite like, but I've kind of run out of space at home to put any more artwork up, unfortunately. But yeah, I love the Andor piece. I thought that was one of my favourites, to be honest. They brought that piece together really nice.
Yeah, there is some lovely stuff, like you say, and the Ahsoka piece that was kind of the lead picture on StarWars.com as well. It's just gorgeous. But there's, like you say, not as much sort of focus on Jedi as I thought there would be, and not to diminish any of the artists that are present and coming to the show, but I was really surprised at some of the artists that aren't. No Joe Caroni, no Chris Travas, sort of staples of Celebration Artist Alley, but it's never a bad thing to bring new faces in, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And I guess the big news of the week is we start to get stage panel announcements. I've got a selection we can run through here, but you head over to StarWarsCelebration.com and check out all the panels as they're being populated each day, I think. And starting up on Friday morning, Lucasfilm Studio Showcase, just an hour into Celebration, and we'll be getting the big announcements with a 90-minute panel on the Celebration stage and streamed everywhere else.
Brilliant. Not a Star Wars Celebration Studio Showcase, a Lucasfilm one.
Indeed, yep.
Wonder what else they can promote there, Brian.
Will we get some Willow Season 2 announcements? Looking unlikely, I would have thought, but you never know.
There's another film coming from them, isn't there?
A little film called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is coming up. Some guy I've never heard of in the lead.
Low budget thing. I think.
Mr. Newbold, your thoughts on the Lucasfilm Studio Showcase? Is this going to be the pinnacle of celebration to kick it off?
It will definitely be a must-see panel, but I suggest everybody instead heads to one of the other stages for the location talk that I'm doing that starts at 11 o'clock on Friday morning, because it'll be far better than this. But if you can't make it to our panel, go and see this, because yes, I think you're right. I think you'll probably get some big announcements because they'll want to take advantage of the weekend and all the traction they'll get from that. And yeah, if you're going to get Harrison Ford rock up to celebrate Jedi and talk about Dial of Destiny, then this is the panel that'll happen on, I would imagine.
Yeah, Mr. Naylor there in the comments saying that he was at the equivalent panel at Anaheim. It was amazing and a highlight for him. Also on the Friday, we have the making of Andor Season 1, again on the celebration stage. Tony Gilroy, Diego Luna, and the team of creators behind Andor will be discussing it. So Diego Luna is going to be at Star Wars Celebration.
Good news. Good news. And if ever they're going to show a teaser or any kind of footage or pictures from Season 2, I guess that's going to be the place they're going to do it. Right at the very end when they think we're about to leave and grab a free poster. That's when they'll do it.
Yeah. I'd say it'll be at the showcase and they'll show more here. So I think
that would work.
Have it today, they double use them. Because it's the showcase that went up from Lucasfilm when they've been filming for a couple of months now, haven't they? We've seen the odd picture here and there from filming, so yeah.
Phil Parker's got his own collect and track panel. 3 rather spiffing, I think he's misspelt rebels, it should say terrorists at 12 to 1, I think.
Well said. I'm not arguing you're in control of the cameras.
That's what got Gary Lineker taken off here. Just little comments like that. Spencer's wanting a panel about Matt's trip to Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I think, Matt. Is that the rule?
No, there's more coverage coming on social media for Fantha. The stuff I can talk about.
There we go. There's Phil saying there a point of view, Brian. We'll be talking a certain point of view just later in the show. What a nice
we will.
That is. On the Saturday morning, again on the celebration stage, Ahsoka makes her debut at Star Wars Celebration. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and special guests. I wonder who that could be. Will be there to talk the upcoming Disney Plus series. Everyone's excited for Ahsoka because they're all big animation fans. Me, not so much. I'm familiar with her ever so slightly. Snips, I believe she's called. You guys, Matt, are you going to be hoping to check out that panel?
I am indeed. I'm actually really looking forward to this show. I mean, I met Rosario in 2002 at San Diego Comic-Con, so I've loved what she's done. I haven't got an ankle tag.
Oh dear.
No,
yeah, he took it off.
I didn't. I didn't get in that much trouble.
Yep.
Even a night out with Wisstock, I didn't get in that much trouble. Amazing, isn't it?
Jack's asking how many Clone Wars episodes I've watched now. We're still struggling there. Here's a good question. Ahsoka's obviously the big character in the Clone Wars. Is there a single episode of the Clone Wars that's Ahsoka centric that I should be watching before I watch the Disney Plus series?
No, you need to watch. You need to watch. What about Arthur and 3PO getting some cake, Brian?
Oh, jeez.
Yes, yeah, that would be a good one.
That's the one to start you off and put you off completely.
Brian's desperately trying to get kicked off Good Morning Tatooine. Claire Henry to take over. There'll just be a silent broadcast 1 week.
I reckon
just the news, no comments.
Claire is far too drunk in Scotland after the Ireland game today, I think.
She's only 5 hours away from me. She could try further north.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Also on the Saturday, the High Republic goes to the Galaxy stage. High Republic, massively popular amongst a big section of the fan base, publishing across comics, audiobooks, books, and non-fiction books as well, of late as well. Mr. Newbold, the High Republic, is it something you're very enthusiastic for, or is it something that's kind of passing you by? I think it's a bit Marmite, I think, for fans, I think it would be fair to say.
I think most Star Wars things seem to be Marmite these days, just not because of the content, but because of the fandom as much as anything else. But I am enjoying the High Republic. I can't pretend to have read and stayed on top of everything, but I'm trying to sort of absorb as much as I can because there's a lot of stuff to cover inside and outside of the High Republic. But yeah, it is fun, and certainly will. If I'm not, then one of the crew hoping to get down to that panel and get some coverage for Fantha. But yeah. I think they're making a good fist of it, and with the Young Jedi Adventures as well, sort of venturing into animation in that era, and other elements sort of across various miniseries, like the Yoda miniseries was with the Yoda segment was from there. There you go, Matt. Nice one. You know, there's plenty in there. So yes, I would certainly be looking forward to that.
What kind of reaction are you getting in your comic book store, Matt, with regards to High Republic? Is it something that's catching on?
Most people who buy all Star Wars comics, I'd say about 10 to 15% have said after the first range came out, they went, yeah, cancel it. So about an 80% take on people who buy all Star Wars comics to get it in my store.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these were nice to find in America in Dollar Tree, $1.25 each if you're in America. And you can read the first 2 issues for less than a cup of coffee or a bottle of pop.
And that Yoda cover was a very expensive cover to try and track down, I think, originally. Anakin, yeah, I believe it was like a retailer incentive one. From off the top of my head. Anakin has been there throwing out the comment for Light and Life. That's one of the anthology novels that's coming in September, I think it is.
Yeah, the Entertainment Weekly got the title of the book wrong in their massive piece when they were speaking to all the creatives behind it, weirdly. Yeah. If you spoon-fed the publishing company your PR statement and they still got the title wrong, terrible. Mr. Naylor trying very hard to get us taken off there as well. It's more Wookiees than Wookiees. There we go. We're going for it this week. We're going for it this week.
I only read it for The Rock.
Yeah. Jack wants to know where he can find your comic book store. Mr. Booker, send him a link. And
have a look on Instagram. Message me on Instagram, Jack.
Yeah. And also on the Saturday, Villains, on the Sunday morning, in fact, Villains of the Sequel Trilogy, back on the Celebration stage. Amy Ratcliffe's going to be interviewing Ian McDiarmid, Andy Serkis, and Gwendoline Christie as they discuss their villainous roles in the final chapters of the Skywalker saga. I'd rather Ian McDiarmid talked about his work in the other trilogies, but there we go. Andy Serkis maybe talk about Andor. Gwendoline Christie can talk about Game of Thrones or Wednesday. Would be a better panel, maybe.
I think this will be fun. This will be fun. Gwendoline's good fun.
Gwendoline talks about how her character was super duper hyped and then underused. Yep. Andy Serkis talks about how his character was made up as they went along with it.
I do take umbrage with the title of the panel, Villains of the Sequel Trilogy, Emperor Palpatine, democratically elected leader.
In the prequels, yes, fine. In the prequels, yes.
In the sequel trilogy, he did nobody any harm. He stayed on his own planet. He didn't go do anything. He was in the unknown regions, didn't go anywhere, and the terrorists came and attacked him. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, and your unknown regions haven't done any harm either, have they?
No. Jackson, there it goes. It is a very difficult one. What questions can you ask Phasma? One of the most lit down characters, I think, in the sequel trilogy. It's a character when everyone saw the look, thought this is going to be epic. When you know the actress behind the role, you think she can bring something really special to it, and it just every film it kind of flunked.
Yeah, it's definitely potential there, wasn't there? And hopefully, I mean, there's all sorts of rumours flying about post Rise of Skywalker stuff. I'm sure we'll touch on it later. And if ever there was the option to bring her back in some form or fashion, who knows? Darth Maul got chopped in half and he came back. So stranger things.
Yeah. Talk about people that came back. Another slick link. I'm doing well today. I look back at ObiWan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Indira Varma, and Vivian Lyra Blair, talking with executive producer and director Deborah Chow on the Celebration stage on Sunday afternoon. Mark, you've interviewed Vivian quite recently for Making Tracks on Father Tracks Radio, so you've get an insight of her thoughts on working on the show. You're looking forward to hearing the four of them together.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ewan seems properly back into it now and may even remember the name of some of the films that he was in, which will be a proper step up. And Hayden, of course, is a fan favourite. They all are. Indira, I don't think we've heard a huge amount from. There was some of the sort of the video stuff around the time of Kenobi coming out. And as you say, Vivian was on the show and she was wonderful. And you wouldn't believe she was 10 years old. She was so savvy and sort of switched on. She was brilliant. So, I think that could be a special panel. And again, if there is a season 2, maybe it'll be announced on the opening panel just to get everyone hyped. Maybe we'll get a few more details later on. We'll find out.
Yeah, but why would Deborah Chow be there for that one panel?
Maybe she's in town.
Yeah. Maybe she's taking over directing one of the other shows because somebody got booted off. Maybe. Who knows?
Very possible.
Mm.
Jack asking none of the Inquisitors in any of the panels, which is surprising, perhaps.
Interesting. Good point.
Yep.
Good point.
The big panel, obviously, I'm looking forward to is coming on the Monday morning. The Bad Batch. I'll be there live on the celebration stage. I should be the one hosting it, really, to be fair.
You should. Yeah.
Many questions to ask about the Bad Batch as to, so what is the Bad Batch? Would be my first question. Director Brad Rowe's going to be there. Jennifer Corbett, executive producer Anthena Portillo, and actors D. Bradley Baker, who plays all of the Bad Batch, I believe. Michelle Ang, who plays Amiga as well. To discuss highlights from the second season of the acclaimed series. Mm-hmm. Mark, you've been watching the Bad Batch.
I have.
So instead of me criticising the concept of animation, give it some praise, much deserved praise.
Oh man, I love this show. It's criminally underrated. The visuals are lush, the story's fascinating, especially because of the era that it's set in, and it's more character based, I think, than people realise. If it was live action, people would be flipping out for it. So I'm a big fan of the Bad Batch, and I think for Clone Wars fans as well, it is not directly, but sort of the bigger picture continuation. You're finding out what happens now to the clones and kind of opening the story up a bit like Mando is, sort of broadening it out a bit. And very good. And again, we've been fortunate enough to have had Brad and Jennifer Corbett on making tracks in some of the roundtables we've done. And Dee as well. We had Dee on not that many weeks ago. And they're also passionate about it, which kind of comes through in the work that's done. So, yeah, very worthwhile show to watch.
I thought Mr. Naylor there with a great question. The Bad Batch is at Star Wars Episodes 8 and 9. Matt, do you want to add anything to the Bad Batch? Give it some praise, because I give it stick every week.
It's the only Star Wars TV show I've not watched as it's come out. I've not actually started season 2 yet.
Okay.
I mean, you and I met D. Bradley Baker, didn't we, Brian? Do you remember?
I got my photo taken with D. Bradley Baker and Ashley Eckstein and Dave Filoni and all the animated cast and crew.
Yeah. And you and I met them at Celebration, Florida, I think. Florida 2, yeah. I think.
Is it Sean Christopher? Is that the guy who was in Resistance?
Yes.
Yeah. He follows me on Instagram. He's my Instagram friend.
Is he?
Singular, not plural.
Yeah. I love these animation guys. Jack's a massive fan of Bad Batch, so we've got fans in the house. So there's going to be a lot of people at that panel. It's going to be,
yeah.
To be fair, I've been to a couple of the animation panels. I went to the one where Thrawn was announced and debuted.
Yes.
And they're always sellout panels with massive queues to get in.
Yeah.
So, again, another huge part of Star Wars.
I sat next to you at that one. And then
I got a row for being on my phone, but I wasn't recording anything from the panel. I was just catching up on social media.
Yeah.
There we go.
Then you decided to tell me about a spelling mistake I made at that panel, Brian.
Yeah.
But you left it until the afternoon.
I remember. To wrap things up, Star Wars Celebration's closing ceremony will be between 4 and 5 across all the stages. Chance to catch up on all the news if you've missed it, but you should be on factortracks.com and you won't miss anything. Catch some of the moments and bid farewell. Mr. Newbold, you've been up there at the closing ceremony in previous years. with your hosting past on the podcast stage. It's a panel not to be missed, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And there's been some good ones over the years. I know Matt will remember 2012 when the umpire band came out to announce Essen, which I don't remember such a cheer from one row of people in a whole of thousands as there was at that convention.
Yeah, and who was
that was when we were sat behind McDiarmid.
We were sat behind McDiarmid, literally.
That was hilarious.
One row behind him, sat right in front of us.
Yeah. But I'm hoping, I always like the closing ceremonies, and they don't quite do it like they used to. It always felt like, at the end of the Commonwealth Games, and they would hand off the torch essentially to the next city in 4 years' time or whatever. And it had that vibe about it. It doesn't quite have that now. I really wish they'd go back to that. I'm hoping, of course, they're listening to this. Everybody should be listening to Good Morning Tatooine on Sundays at 9. But if they're not, then they should know that would be a cool thing to do. Because we do know we're getting Celebration in 2 years, and it's probably going to be Orlando, but good grief, I'd love it if that umpire band came out again.
That would be good. Of course, at Anaheim last year, the live stream went across to the stage whilst it was still the warm-up acts getting the crowd hyped, and you could hear them say to each other, "Have we got the graphic for London ready?" So I was able to get my hotel booked nice and early because I'd figured, when's it going to be? It's going to be Easter weekend, isn't it? So,
you did well.
Did well. Yeah. Got our hotel right next to the convention centre. Job done. But yeah, so I reckon the big announcement in the closing ceremony will be where 2025 is going to be.
Yeah.
Where do you think,
though? Where do you think?
Mexico.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that could be interesting, actually. That's been talked about for years, hasn't it, Mexico?
Yeah.
Brazil would be the best bet where to go. And in recent years, Disney have started to recognise the South American market a lot more, and they were there Christmas time for the São Paulo's big convention. So that's a
it's a huge event.
Yeah.
And if you can't be at Celebration, Celebration live stage is going to be back, and it is going to be streaming, and it will have some panels. What those panels will be, we won't know until the day. But they'll have lots of content from the show. Usual hosts, Auntie Carbone, Christina, I can never say her name, Ariel Baker, and Jamie Sangroom as well. Disappointed there's not a big European voice in there. I would have liked to have seen something just a little bit flavour different.
Jamie's English. Jamie's good fun.
But you want some French and Spanish and German voices. I think needed to do more that way.
The sort of the Spanish announcers table logic of having them at WrestleMania sort of thing.
Yeah, we'd love to see Harrison Ford put through a table live on the Celebration stage.
It wasn't quite what I was thinking, but yeah.
So everyone should be delighted for that. And next up on the Celebration news front, badge art was revealed as well. There's one of the examples of it is Little Grogu, and lots of lovely badge art for people who've got the very tough task of trying to collect that stuff. Good luck, because there's quite a lot of badges this year, I noticed.
Yeah, they'll do it.
19 badges.
Yeah. And last but not least, if you head over to fantatracks.com, you'll get all the latest on the collecting tracks panels. And if you go to them, you can pick up some lovely looking coins. A couple there. I picked out Jabba and Boba Fett. You guys managed to pick up some Celebration track giveaways over the years, I imagine.
I've got all the Boba.
All the Boba ones. Yeah, makes sense.
All I need.
Yeah. I've been lucky. I got all the. Oh, what did I get? So the original Europe ones, which were like this. The colour ones from Europe last time, and I think if I remember, I've got the Celebration 4 ones, which was a couple of months before Europe 1. They're gorgeous. They display nice. I'm chuffed to bits that these are coming back. And as I say, I've got the article up and running on Fantha from the track panels. Phil Parker mentioned earlier he's second or third panel on the Friday with Mark Mulcaster and Greg Alonso talking about costuming and collecting. But there's other Fanthas who are involved. Richard Hutchinson's doing a panel with the Vintage Rebellion guys. My former co-host on Making Tracks, Dave Tree's doing a Palatoy panel. There's all sorts of really cool stuff happening on the collecting the collecting track. I nearly said collecting tracks. That's a podcast on Fantha Tracks Radio. But yeah, there's loads going on, and these coins just look amazing.
Yeah. Paul's asking there if the panels are not being streamed in the world. They are being streamed. You just won't know what ones will be, so you might not get the panel that you particularly wanted. And in past, they have cut away during particular segments where they've been showing footage. So
the collecting track panels, these ones they were looking at now, they're all filmed by the team who make them, and then they'll put them on YouTube afterwards, though. So if you want to see any of the previous year's panels, they're up on their own YouTube channel, which are really cool.
Yeah.
And we tend to put those on Fantha as well, just in case people want to check them out on the site.
And if you were like me at home last year, frustrated, trying to watch the live stream because you couldn't get to the event, brilliant Doug Chang panel was being live streamed, and they cut away to Ewan McGregor on the live stage, who only had one thing to say was, "Come and get your autograph, come free just now." And it was the most frustrating thing ever. If there was one thing you didn't need to live stream, was Ewan McGregor begging for autograph sales.
Of which nobody at home could attend.
Yeah, it was like the most bizarre thing.
True.
And it was a great panel. It was a fascinating panel. And then useless, terrible. The highlight for me was they were playing the Lego Star Wars game. They couldn't get to work. And they tried for a good full 20 minutes, and that was tough filling work. That was like, give the guys some credit that day, because they tried really hard for 20 minutes to fill some content.
You think you'd turn it on and check it first, wouldn't you?
You would.
Switch it on and switch it off.
Yeah, that's what they should have
Take
done.
the cartridge out and blow it. That's what you got to do, isn't it?
We've already spoken about Boonta.
Right, a drink first, Matt.
One of the other events round about Celebration on the Sunday night, in fact, is Cantina2. If you were at Celebration in London, when was it, 2016?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is a long time ago.
A lot of people have fond memories of the first Cantina over at the O2. Again, it's over at the O2, different venue inside the O2. It's now at Indigo, which is the second largest theatre, I guess you would call it, within the O2. And amazing musical acts, headlined by Ash, the Irish rock band, and they're also doing signings at the event through Alliance agents, and a number of guest announcements. First up, Big Starklighter.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We've got Ponda Baba.
Very rare signing, that.
Yeah.
As is this one. That was a strange one to announce. Really cool.
That's a great one to get. Yeah.
Pondo. And Max Rebo. No idea if Max is going to be give us a tune when he's there, potentially.
How cool would that be?
Yeah. Phil, he's agreeing with my original canteen was fantastic. Jack, won two of the VIP, won two general tickets. He's also got two VIP tickets as well. And Mr. Naylor there preferring the guest list at Cantina 2 than the Celebration. To be fair, I would be more inclined probably to get autographs from the guys that are at Cantina than I would at Celebration, to be fair. Price points also much.
Yes.
Much.
More on point.
More on point.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to be at Cantina. Next event beyond Celebration, I think we'll all be meeting up at, is Fun Day. And they've been announcing their guests as well. They've got Dave Barclay heading to Blackburn. I nearly said Burnley, but it's Blackburn. And also Philip Herbert as well.
Very rare signing.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things I like about Fun Days, that you get kind of quirky guests thrown in there.
Yeah, no, that was a good shout. Dave Barkley we had on Fantha on Making Tracks rather quite recently, back end of last year. Fascinating fella, and what a history, especially being involved with Yoda so early in his career as he was on Empire. And then of course Jabba in Jedi, which is the big hook for this year. But Philip Herbert is a brilliant. I've never seen him at a show. I don't remember ever seeing him at a show. So
he's going back to the 90s, I think.
Do you remember him on Sticky Moments with Julian Clary?
I used to watch Sticky Moments.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch Julian Clary as a kid.
If you're going to Blackburn, be careful. There will be terrorists there.
Ah.
Will they? Oh no.
Yeah.
It's always a good show, Fun Day, whether it's in Burnley, Blackburn, or the car park behind the NEC. It doesn't matter. It's always a good show, and because it's run by good people, and it's always a good laugh. I keep saying good, but it is good. It's well worth it visiting.
And of course, Fat Track's own Mr. Paul Naylor, he'll be there with us at Dinner with the Stars the night before, and it's going to be a stag do. Gets married the following weekend.
Oh dear, Mr. Naylor.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. It's a busy couple of weeks.
Is Mr. Naylor going to last year and mix his wine and his beer again, like his friend, like our other friend did on the table?
Oh, wasn't that funny?
Yeah.
Snake bites all round.
Uh-oh.
That was a highlight of my year last year, I think.
It was.
I just like being able to go into work at the on the Monday morning and people at my work asking what were you up to the weekend. I was getting drunk with the Gill Pickle.
Yeah.
Don't give it any kind of context. Just left it. Yeah, just left it at that. Got drunk with the Gill Pickle at the weekend.
Yeah.
As you do.
As you do.
And who did you wake up with that next morning, Brian?
I don't know.
Inflatable BB-8.
That's true. That's true. I was trying to think there.
Brian's 11 droids. He texts us all the next morning with a picture of him and BB-8, a helium balloon.
That's true. I remember now.
Therapy didn't help.
Yeah, Ankin Crispin there asking, did any attend the first celebration in Denver back in '99? I didn't. I missed that one. I attended everyone.
3 was my first one. 3 was my first.
Yeah, Europe 1 was my first.
Yeah. Celebration 3, Father Tracks wouldn't have been around Celebration 3, I don't think.
No, we feel like we've been around forever, but we've only been around 5 years, haven't we? We've been around collectively a long time, but Fantha is only 5 years old, so.
Yeah. I didn't even know you guys at Celebration 3. I only met you in Celebration in Germany.
I met you in Germany.
Yeah.
Don't mention
we adopted you and
Germany at the moment, right? You'll get sacked.
What's that?
We can't talk about Germany at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first time I met you guys. It was like going back to the 1930s.
Yeah. We went and had pizza and you offended a waitress, I think I remember.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole foreign country.
Swiftly moving on.
Something much closer at home. Roosevelt's coming to the UK. We're all big fans of their shirts. I've actually got one of their shirts whizzing their way across the Atlantic just now to me in time for Star Wars Celebration, getting dressed up, smarting up myself a little bit.
Is it a Droids one? Is it a Droids one?
Of course
it's not a Droids one. Is
it an animation one?
It's a very appropriate one for me, and I'll be wearing it during the Good Morning Tatooine panel at Star Wars Celebration.
It's wicked, isn't it? It's the wicked one. It's the wicked one. I'm sure of it.
You're going to kick the show off.
They're going to be shipping within the UK for the first time, which is going to be a big bonus to everybody. And,
they're shipping of West Coast.
Yeah, and they're also going to have their own booth at Star Wars Celebration as well.
Fantastic
Excellent news. Yeah, really good news. Yeah.
And they're bringing over some very good people with them.
Okay.
Mr. Morrow is coming, isn't he, Mark? We found out.
Yes. So that'll be fantastic. If anybody watches Paging Mr. Morrow on YouTube and Instagram, he's a fella that travels everywhere, and he's got crazy followers, and he's a lovely chap as well. We had a few drinkies with him, didn't we, at New York Comic Con? And a couple of drinks, and they're a good crowd. So the people in the UK are going to fall in love with that company, and good luck to them because they're a really good bunch.
And they don't just do Star Wars; they do so many eclectic, different fan favorite medias on their shirts. They just do a really good range of clothing, nice and comfy as well.
I don't know Mr. Morrow because I'm not down with the kids. I don't know what's fashionable and cool. So I look forward to meeting them. And
we just thought he was one of the gang, and there was like complete strangers coming up to him going, "Here, Mr. Morrow," and it was like he was like, suddenly like we're with a really well known person here. It was kind of weird. And then he just carried on chatting like nothing had happened. So very cool.
Go and find his New York Comic Con video, and you can spot Mr. Newbold doing karaoke after his 2 pints he had. 2 pints.
Don't say that. Spencer's on the line. Don't say that. You give him ideas. Shut up.
Anakin question, they're asking if Phantom Tracks, didn't we used to feature in Star Wars Insider a long time ago, back in 2004 or something? Mr. Newbold, you explain.
I can say that as a long-time writer for the Insider. No, that was Bantha Tracks. So Bantha Tracks was the original fan club magazine. Well, once it got its name in about 78, 79, and by Preston Postle, who I've been in contact with. He came up with the name when he was a kid. And so that was Bantha Tracks. Mary Franklin brought it back as a sort of a thing in Star Wars Insider. We're Fantha Tracks, so we're Bantha Tracks for fans, basically.
Yep, perfect. Mention of Star Wars Insider brings me to my favourite thing that ever happened at Star Wars Celebration. Was during the Star Wars Insider panel when someone stood up and asked a question. You know, I think Mr. Newbold, you were actually on the panel. Nice array of guests that were on the panel. The guy stood up and asked a question about why his subscription always arrived damaged in the post. It was the best thing ever. I just thought that's the best use of Star Wars Celebration. He's waited until that point to complain about the postman.
Because he couldn't go to their booth and ask. Have they got a booth?
Well, the post office didn't have a booth there, that's why.
Cats Protection League probably did. They're everywhere. If you're at Star Wars Celebration, do go and speak to the people that look after the cats and dogs. They've got a long day. Mando
They get
Mania
paid very
week
well
2.
to be there, don't they?
Yeah, Mando Mania week number 2 has arrived, and lots of new product announcements. Galaxy of Heroes, first up. Apparently, it's incredibly popular. I don't know anyone that's playing it, but apparently it's still huge.
I'm still playing Pokemon since the last Celebration in London, Brian.
Yeah. Have you caught them all yet?
Nearly.
Okay.
Nearly.
I heard the guy's retiring, is he? The trainer.
No, he finished. Ash in the Pokemon cartoons did actually become the very best there ever was, like no one ever was before. So he's retired. But yeah, there'll be somebody else taking over the adventures.
Jack's what a player. So it is true. It's very popular.
Is it a good game, Jack?
Yeah, he's been playing it since it's been released. So Mandalorian's in there. Whole host of new characters all related to the Mandalorian show. So that was the first up.
Why would you want to unlock Moff Gideon? Leave him locked up.
The Mandalorian Special Cargo Blind by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. And their ethically sourced coffee with Baby Grogu in the front.
Fair enough. Why hasn't he got a cup of spots in his hand, though? Come on. You'd at least have him having a drink on the cover.
Good question.
Yeah.
Game's no longer free to play, but it's an excellent game for nostalgia. And Lego, also part of Mando Mania this week. The Pirate Snub Fighter by the Lego Group.
Absolutely fantastic release. Straight on point. Soon as it's announced, soon as you watch the episode, week later, here's a Lego set. Great. Well done, lads.
Yep, that's
the way to do it.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I watched a video.
We'll be talking about Hasbro in a moment, so we'll just.
Yeah, but I watched a video recently that somebody interviewed the Lego designers at a press event last year, and they talked about the Andor set, and they literally, the Lego designers were like, yeah, we had 2 photos to work on as reference to make the Lego set from, so we came up with this. So it's great. I'm not too sure about the figures though; their faces look a bit weird, but it looks like a good set.
I've got a theory on Pirate King Gorian Shard. Would you like to hear it?
Go on then.
So, what do we know about the Skeleton Crew? We know that main character is a school teacher, and he goes on an adventure with his kids.
Yeah.
And we know that there's pirates in it. So
Right.
what happened in The Mandalorian? But the pirates tried to get into a school and cause all kinds of trouble because it used to be a bar. Wondering if it's going to be Gorian Shard's going to be the main baddie in the Skeleton Crew.
Maybe.
In that
a good
school in Navarro's where the teacher and the kids originate from.
Or end up. Well, no. Yeah. Originate from, I'd have thought. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, not much is known about Skeleton Crew.
No.
Very, very little, to be honest.
Kind of hoping we get a little taster at Celebration. We'll throw that one
even
out
if it's
there.
just
There just
a
seems to
video
be
film.
a lot of product coming its way featuring Gordon Shard, so I'm just throwing that one out there.
I want a Build-A-Bear of him. He looks like a Build-A-Bear to me.
Last up, in a very short Mando Mania, so how you could call it Mania this week, you only had a few announcements, is these kid shoes, Mandalorian Grogu Edition native shoes, by Native Shoes.
They forgot to put laces in them.
I think they're cute. They're cute.
They kind of look like
Yeah.
Crocs, don't they? But without the gap.
Yeah.
No, they've done that license already. I like the Fett ones. There's not a lot of fetting to them, but yeah, little armor panel on it's kind of cool. Yeah, they look a lot like Crocs.
Phil Parker's a bit concerned about Skeleton Crew because he's hoping it's not going to be the live action equivalent of Resistance. Has the risk of that. Hasbro, when we were talking earlier about Lego being on point and up to date with their releases,
Yeah,
we've got Hasbro with their Mando Mania week, and they do have the N1 Starfighter and part of their mission fleet, so that's
good.
That
good.
is nice. Yeah,
Well,
that's really nice.
up to date. A
Hasbro
little bit too slick in the look of the N1 Starfax. A little bit more bashed up in Mando. But
not knackered enough.
yeah. We've also got their retro collection of the Mandalorian.
Is it?
Well,
It's not. The Book of Boba Fett series, Brian.
It's Book of Boba, yeah, that's right, yeah.
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 and talking
These
about being
are-
on
I
point
like-
and up to date with releases. Here we go.
Yeah.
June C. Boba
I
Fett.
like these. I do like these. I love the retro line. I think they're excellent.
Yeah, but it's a year too late.
Boba Fett's sidekick, as she's now known. Fennec Shand.
Really? That better be a rubbery helmet like the Belsh one.
Tusken Warrior.
That's lovely.
Repaint.
But it should be vinyl cape.
Yes.
Coming
Black
to an
vinyl cape,
entertainer
but it's
store
nice.
soon.
Ever so
Phil.
true, Phil.
Phil.
And
And home bargains.
retro collection Grogu.
Now you're
Well,
talking
cool.
with the rebel what was it? Rebel survival kit from back in the day with the little Luke backpack. That's lovely. I like that. And the frog.
$12 and then about 16 quid to UK retailers. There'll be.
And we've also got non-specific coloured chrysanthemum.
It's a good sculpt. I prefer that to the Black Series version.
Yeah, coming fall.
No, the Black Series
2023.
one was based on the comic, not on the TV series. There'll be a Black Series, Black Chrysanthemum, non-specific coloured chrysanthemum coming out probably about 18 months' time when you've forgotten about him.
And Cad Bane, who could have his own show.
Should.
Can I tell you my interesting fact about Cad Bane that I learnt last week?
Go for it.
Okay.
The actor the actor that plays Cad Bane, his father was married to Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman, which means that Cad Bane's mom is the Bionic Woman. How cool is that?
That makes sense because he is slightly robotic.
Robotic, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense. So
Is that what you don't
I
like?
did not know that.
But was his dad married to him because it's his mum, or was his dad married to him because it was his second marriage? Or
No,
his
no.
first marriage?
It was his second marriage, but she is his mum. She is his mum. He was born in '82. Lindsay Wagner's his mum, and I had no idea until I saw it on, I don't know, Wikipedia or wherever it was. Yeah,
Anakin Cressman wanting more Black Chrysanthemum merch. It feels like a character that, give him a better storyline, could be phenomenally popular. He's popular in the comics.
You will get the merch. You will get the merch, but Hasbro will deliver it to you in 2026.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And
Somebody, when we posted the Lego set, people were asking why aren't Hasbro getting stuff out, and it's like, well, Lego are getting the information. Obviously, not much, but they're getting the information, and Hasbro aren't getting any of it.
Yeah.
Lego have got the same kind of lead times, I'm sure, because I've watched far too much Lego nonsense and videos about Lego company and stuff that, they've got the same lead times. It's just Hasbro are just working a different way now, or they're not getting the information. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know why. That something's changed at Hasbro somewhere because they used to get all the information leading up to episode 8, I think.
too many
8 and
leaks.
Solo, they had the information. I mean, Solo, they didn't get all the stuff out on time because the film changed last minute and it didn't give them the lead time. But up until 8, Hasbro had all the right information, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. So that was a less than manic Mando Mania week, I would suggest.
Well, there was another Grogu plush.
That's true. Product announcements keep coming. Actually tied to the Mandalorian as well. Good timing from Denuo Novo as well with their Bo-Katan Kryze Helmet accessory. Due to hit the shops in July-September period. Priced at $579. Bo-Katan Kryze obviously back once again for season 3. And Denuo Novo continuing their helmet range, which is becoming incredibly popular. I think they're going to be at Celebration as well, I believe. I think I saw something along that lines. And next up to discuss Galactic Starcruiser. There's been some rumours for a while with it being closed for a number of weeks over the busy summer season, which generally Disney hotels never ever do. And we've now got some announcements and kind of proof in the calendar. There's a calendar for October to December is kind of being released for Disney World, and the number of voyages has been vastly reduced. We're down to we'll call it 2 flights a week, 2 voyages a week. A bit of a surprise. Is it becoming difficult for them to run the Galactic Starcruiser unless they're cutting back to maintain quality? Or is the interest failing a little bit because it's a very expensive product and we are in a cost of living crisis?
Yeah, I think that nails it. I think that's exactly that. I think money's tight for people, and all things being equal, there probably is enough people with money to burn who could do it and not blink. But right now, I think even people who are doing pretty well are thinking, don't go too overboard. So I think dropping it to 2 a week is probably a smart move. They can always step it up. Plus, it gives them time to do refurbs and tweaks and changes as well that they would inevitably need to do. It's been, how long has it been open now? 3-4 years? No, Cruiser hasn't. Galaxy Edge has. But Cruiser's been open a good 18 months now, I would say.
Open just before lockdown, didn't it?
Yeah. So, it's probably not a bad idea, but yeah, I think even Bob Iger kind of inferred that they need to start looking at a lot of costings and various things in that chat recently. So yeah, probably not the grand shaking thing that people might make out that it is, but probably quite sensible to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it means the staff have only got to do a 4-day week now, so that's good for them, rather than 7 days straight.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well. There is that to it. Next up in the news front, more cutbacks at Lucasfilm, it looks. Couple of projects, more or less officially confirmed. It's basically been leaked to Variety that Rogue Squadron's no longer in development. Kevin Feige's project's no longer in active development either. Basically, Lucasfilm PR cleaning house before Celebration, so they don't have to put out negative news at Celebration. They can maybe focus on positive announcements related to film. So clearing the decks a little bit here, if it looks
Fair
like.
comment. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Well, I think we all knew Patty Jenkins' film was probably, if not at the back of the queue, then probably torpedoed, and other projects that have been mentioned don't seem to be a lot of movement. And Feige focusing on Marvel is no shock whatsoever. I think the article says there's about 19 projects on the go at the moment, and he's the top of the tree for all of them. So it makes sense.
It was very odd that they brought him in at all. It almost felt like a panic move a little bit, and very odd that he would want to step out of Marvel and do that in the middle of the schedule he's kind of got. Bob Iger, obviously, he's been talking this week. I think it was a Morgan Stanley conference that he was at, and made some interesting comments. I picked up on quite a few. He spoke about maybe no longer doing free periods on new subscribers to Disney Plus because people were signing up for a month, quitting, then signing up to Netflix for a month and quitting on that. And they've kind of been observing people's viewing patterns during that month, and they watch an awful lot of content for a month and disappear. Spoke about the idea of how do they bringing advertising on Disney Plus as well, cutting back on the volume of releases that they were doing, because obviously at the start they were having to build up a catalogue, and they've kind of got that catalogue now, and they've added Fox content since.
Yeah,
And,
I think they overlap too much content.
Yes, and I think that's kind of what,
definitely.
I think that's kind of what he kind of the point he kind of got to, I think. And he also spoke about Star Wars's performance on the big screen as well, and he mentioned Solo in 2018 being a disappointment, and it caused him to rethink quite a lot of what they've been doing. Mentioned that they are actively developing Star Wars films, but they're being much, much more careful. And I think they are going to be a lot more careful. I think they've been a little... I think it's fair to say, and it's not just on the Lucasfilm side of things, I think it's across everything Disney, a little bit too brave with the spending of cash.
Yeah.
And, Disney Plus is struggling to get to the stage of being profitable. And it needs to be profitable, because prior to Disney Plus, they were selling their content all around the world and making a lot of money in licensing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, like you say, that's kind of a thing they've lost the access to now, because they want it all in one place. And I know I don't know whether it was the Morgan Stanley talk or another one where he kind of he even mentions physical media as well. So there's options.
Yeah.
They're looking at lots of different options, which is sensible. The collectible element of a physical media is never going to go away. People are always going to want it. That's why limited run games do so well with all the old LucasArts releases that they're pushing out, which are gorgeous.
He did also suggest that content that had previously been exclusive to Disney Plus would be licensed out. Not necessarily Star Wars, because it's been a tentpole brand that brings in people into Disney Plus, but they make an awful lot of content. Let's just take something along the lines of Modern Family, just throw that name out there, for example. If we were making a show like that, why would they make that exclusive for Disney Plus? That's maybe something you would license out. And that kind of idea. Things like The Simpsons, that, as he pointed out, they've been all over the world in loads of different channels. Why would you make that exclusive to Disney Plus? It's not something that people aren't familiar with being out there. So
I'm sure you could make more money licensing Simpsons season 27, 28, whatever it is now they're on, a year later, put it first on Disney Plus and then put it elsewhere.
Anakin Crespin there as well. If you want to do something Old Republic, it seems like a no-brainer to any fan out there. But it annoys me when I see them talking about Solo, because they almost judge it completely wrong. And it wasn't a failure to me in terms of story, and it wasn't a failure in terms of production or anything to do with the film. It was a failure in marketing more than anything.
Marketing and release time.
Yep.
It should have been out that Christmas. It should have had a whole year to lead up to let people know about it and forget about the previous year. Episode 8, some love it, some hate it, but it was the most divisive thing we've ever had in Star Wars, I think. A lot of people hate on it and a lot of people love it. And there is a very balance of love and hate in that film from the fandom. But it should have been pushed out a year later.
But look at when it came out, Deadpool 2, Ready Player One, Infinity War, it had no chance.
No, and it wasn't promoted at all. That was the biggest issue with it, I think.
Yeah. John Favreau as well is obviously on the interview tour for the Mando Season 3. He threw out some comments that applied to Star Wars films as well, which were interesting. And there's definitely conversations going on, and it's post Rise of Skywalker era being discussed as well. So it's good that they've obviously had issues at Lucasfilm as to what they're going to do, and they've stopped. They've looked at things again, but it hasn't stopped things being developed. And maybe things being developed and kept a tighter lid on is the more appropriate way to act at the moment.
Develop it properly. Give it a full story. Whatever you're doing after it, give it a good story.
Yeah.
And have the beginning, middle, and end written, please, before you even start filming anything.
Yeah.
Before you even cast anybody.
Yeah.
Have the whole
Wouldn't
story.
argue with that. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Brian. I was just going to say, whatever they announce the celebration, you just got to hope there's a Bible for it. It's all written. It's planned. They know where they're taking it. That's the thing. Don't just throw titles out and get headlines in Variety and Entertainment Weekly actually, make sure it's fleshed out.
I honestly don't want any more announcements. I don't want an announcement about anything until they started filming it.
Yep. Until they know they're making it. They know they've got a script. They're happy with the script. They've got a director in place. They know what they want to do. And they're not going to be cutting and chopping and changing their mind halfway through.
Yeah.
And, last Celebration, the big surprise was Skeleton Crew. And the announcement came because they were already just about to... Were they rolling on film? Or were they just about to start rolling?
Didn't we have a screenshot from it of him with all the door droids? Wasn't that Celebration?
I think that was a piece of artwork, was it?
Piece of artwork, but they were just about to start filming.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Skeleton Crew's finished filming by now, but there's been no announcement.
Star Wars comics are on the schedule for June. We'll fly through these. We've got the continuation of Darth Vader Black, White and Red from the team of Jason Aaron, Daniel Warren Johnson and Mark Bernardin. Mandalorian Season 2 arrives, and we've got issue 1 of that. It'll probably come with 50 covers. Rodney Barnes.
What are you trying to say?
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Star Wars Yoda reaches issue 8.
That's been fun. I've enjoyed that. That's been good.
And Sana Staros comes to a conclusion as well.
So why is Sana Staros listed as 5 of 5? But then the first one you showed was listed as Vader was listed as number 4, not 4 of 5. Don't get it. I wish they'd announced when it's a miniseries and how many issues it was at the start.
Yeah. Star Wars Return of the Jedi, The Empire issue 1, which has a completely different title on the cover to solicitation. So Jodie Heiser is going to be fronting this one. It's another part of their Return of the Jedi grouping of comics. And,
is it a one-shot? Can you tell from the solicitation? Nope.
No, it's going to be a one-shot, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Star Wars Bounty Hunters reaches issue 35 from Ethan Sachs. And
loving that series. Great fun.
Dr.
Aphra reaches issue 33 with the weirdest face on Dr. Aphra on the cover.
Looks like Smile.
And Star Wars 35 is there. Luke looking quite dark and sinister in Charles Souls.
And anime.
One there.
That's
Darth Vader
a nice
also
cover.
at number 35. And they're playing around us back there. Greg Pak on writing duties. So quite a wide range of comics coming from Marvel. I'm interested to see what they've got to announce at Celebration. I noticed that both Marvel and Dark Horse have panels at Celebration in Europe, which I thought surprising because Dark Horse comics can't be published in Europe at the moment. It comes under Panini. And in the UK it comes through dodgy means.
Well, I sent you the picture, didn't I, that they're doing the Tales of Vader's Castle graphic novel in the UK this year.
Yeah.
That book was before lockdown from IDW.
Yeah. Mr. Naylor telling me to hurry up. We are running behind schedule here, so we'll keep moving on the news front. And we're actually at the last news item with the announcement of A Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi. A whole host of writers on that. I've enjoyed the sort of Certain Point of View collaborations in the past. And so it's back for Return of the Jedi. I don't think it mentioned if this one was a charity edition. I missed that in the announcement, so I'll need to check that out. The previous ones have been charity related. And with that is all the news of the week. So we've still got the Mandalorian to discuss. So let's have a quick discussion on that because time is kicking on. I'll start with you, Mark. Your overall impressions episode 2 of The Mandalorian this week.
I can't do an impression of a mythosaur, but I will tell you that I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I was thinking of this guy when I was watching it because that final sequence must have blown his mind. Loved it, top to bottom, loved it. Thought it was brilliantly done. Bo-Katan really came into her own in this one. Grogu is making a lot more sort of discernible noises. Pelimoto wasn't completely irritating. It was actually quite cool, and it was great to see the whole Boonta Eve celebrations. So, and that Rodian's outfit was awesome. So yeah, beautiful. Some great shots there. Nice one, man. And R5D4, I mean, come on. One of the original droids from A New Hope, who had a great moment in A New Hope and now comes into The Mandalorian, of all things, and is stealing the show again. Richard Hutchinson must be having kittens. So, yes, it was very, very good.
And we got the Boonta Eve celebrations as well. Kicked off the show talking
Boonta
Eves.
Love that.
Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful episode. R5D4 doing the 3-2-3 with his middle leg. Absolutely fantastic. Saw a post by our friend Mike McMaster from McMaster Robots on Instagram, and he was talking about how they actually managed to do that for full rather than it was all remote. So that's an absolute first, I think, in Star Wars for them to do that. So him and his team, huge congrats. Love the whole episode. My only problem with Mando is the pace is ridiculous. They are just banging through story. Right, go here, do this. Right, you got that. Right, on to the next. So different to Andor, but, you know, from the first episode, I thought the whole story arc of the season was going to be him going to Mandalore and having a bath.
Yeah.
And no, we're nearly there. After episode 2. A lot more to come.
I've got a question. There you have Mandalore.
Yeah.
In front of him, you've got Concordia, where he grew up. Nobody ever bothered to go and check to see if it was okay to go to the surface. There we go. My second point, because I like to pick out problems with droids. Very shiny, flat surface, convenient for a droid, wasn't it? Leading into the cave.
But then you couldn't see where the cave was. Every time they went to that cave, they drove to the back and it was all pointy rocks and rocks in the way. And you couldn't work out where the cave entrance was. It's like, okay. Yes, definitely not shot on the void.
Fighting again with the Darksaber, he was struggling with that in the episode, still finding it far too heavy.
Yeah.
It is not his. We all know that.
Even though
he doesn't believe. That's the thing. He doesn't believe, does he? Bo-Katan believes she. It's like Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Yeah, you got to believe it. You got to feel it. I don't think Mando's quite feeling it yet.
But Favreau came out and said that Grogu was with Luke for a couple of years. So how's he not learned to use it in that time?
I think he was kind of misquoted. Even when he was talking about a couple of years, he was talking a couple of years between production, rather than he was a couple of years in world timeline.
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of people have picked. We were talking about this on Making Tracks on the 2 reaction chats about if it is 2 years, then yada yada. But yeah, I think Brian's right. I think it is kind of a slight misinterpretation of what he was saying. So yeah, I don't think it's that far after. It's a few months. Just we've moved forward in the timeline a bit.
Yeah. So this was the thing that annoyed me. All these amazing Mandalorians, and never once has anybody flew down on a planet with a droid who took all of 4 seconds to see if it was safe.
Yeah,
even if it wasn't safe, he just had to push one button and he could breathe quite happily within his
my biggest issue
sealed
is
helmet.
How the hell does the droid get into the starfighter when the droid port at the bottom in the Phantom Menace starfighter in Mando has a massive, great big engine in the way?
Yep.
So
we got our first sort of glimpse of inside the city, and
no, we've had many glimpses before in the cartoons, Brian.
In the Clone Wars,
You got your first glimpse.
Yeah.
And Din Djarin obviously goes on the trail looking for access to the mines. Finds a helmet, but the helmet's a trap by this weird alien stroke droid.
Designed by Ryan Church. Absolutely fantastic.
Weird kind of alien thing.
As seen in Watto's Junkyard in The Phantom Menace, by the way.
Captures our hero, and he's kind of locked up for the episode. So Grogu gets his own little adventure. He gets out of his crib for once, and goes to visit this poor lady who just sits around all day, man. Get a TV or something. Watch something. It's just that's not.
It's like a bed sit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not looking like a comfy seat, but yeah, she's kind of got her little blanket there. She probably cuddles up and has a little snooze.
Yeah.
And she's only got a droid for company. Life is bad. Like, she gets a little visit from Grogu, which kind of surprises her. And I actually thought at the start of the episode when Mando and Grogu visited Peli, and Peli was going on about it being his first word, I thought at this point was the right moment for Grogu to say his first word, and it should have been "din"
Yeah,
That would have been cool.
or "daddy" or
Yes.
something like that,
Yeah.
and it would have worked.
yeah. He's
More
made
interestingly, but he just
little
did the sort of sad eyes and his little cooing that he does.
Yeah,
But it was enough to get Bo-Katan off her backside into her ship. And,
put a hat back on.
Yep. Hats on, and she fights this weird robot stroke.
Very
monster thing.
Grievous-esque with the flesh part in it.
Yeah.
But really cool design.
And Din's being held in a cage that reminded me of Temple of Doom.
Completely.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, no hole to put your hand in, though, to pull his heart out, unfortunately.
Yep.
Oh, you wouldn't get past his best guy anyway, but yeah, it was cool.
And something that was really underplayed in the episode, but I thought surely was very significant, was Bo-Katan getting back the Darksaber.
But she can't keep
Yes,
it. She wins the battle.
Yeah, didn't mess around with it though. She certainly knows how to use that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's had practice all the time she had it.
True.
Yeah. Most parents teach their kids to swear first. What Star Wars swear word should Grogu blurt out first?
Voodoo!
Dang, Varric.
I'll see you in hell.
Yep. And he's looking like he worries more about the food that's being prepared by Bo-Katan there than he is worried about his very severely injured looking father on the right.
Lack
His
of blood.
priorities all right. So having fended off these alien stroke droid weird creatures, they find the mines of Mandalore.
Moria. Yeah, Mandalore. Sorry, not the ones of Moria.
Mines of Moria. And he goes for his much mooted bath in the waters. And he gets dragged under. And
Shock.
it's a really terrible screenshot, but Bo-Katan goes to rescue him.
It's a very dark screenshot, Brian.
I know, because it was a very dark show, even though
It was a
everyone said
very
it wasn't.
Yeah. They couldn't afford to show you all of it, so they just darkened it down a bit.
And then you got sight of this thing in the water, followed by an eye,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is basically, we all know, Mythosaur. So, as I understand it, Mandalorian legend is basically that the Mythosaur will come out of the mines and Mandalore will see glory once again. Is that more or less?
So along those lines, isn't it?
So
Yeah,
you've got
pretty much that,
Bo-Katan
yeah.
Kryze, the sort of self-elected leader of the Mandalorians, back with the Darksaber in hand. You've got a Mythosaur there.
Yeah.
Din Djarin's had a proper bath because he went pretty deep.
Yeah.
Even though he had his helmet sealed, so not a single bit of water should have touched his skin. So what's he really achieved? So where's the Mandalorian as a series going to go from this point?
Well, I love the fact that they've, I think like Matt said, and we said it on Making Tracks, we assumed that the quest to get to the mines and bathe in the waters and atone itself would be the plot of season 3. And we've done that by episode 2, which I'm kind of, I'm pleased in a way that that's the case, because I got no idea what's coming now. This any thoughts we might have had of what was ahead for the rest of the season has gone out the window. So I assume the story's going to sort of scope out now and get bigger. I don't know. I don't know who's coming into it, who else is coming into it. We've got Ahsoka crossovers coming. I don't know. Thrilled to find out, though. Loved it.
Don't want any more Luke. Want an Ahsoka crossover at the end, tie into the Ahsoka series that's next. I want him to go back and meet the rest of the clan.
Yeah.
How does he prove he's been washed in the waters of Mandalore?
He takes a little sample of it and says, "Look, here's my bath water."
And here's my next
people
question.
sell that on the internet.
Yeah.
If he tells his little clan, who I don't think they have a name. They really need a name to define them separate from the rest of the Mandalorians.
Then the Mudhorn clan.
Yeah. he's been hanging about with the dirty, filthy Mandalorians that take their helmets off. Is that not a bad thing?
But she's there, but where's the other two?
They're not our friends
and
anymore.
Costco.
Because she lost to Darksaber, they no longer worship her.
Yeah, probably mercenaries now. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
And New Japan Wrestling.
Yeah. And actors off doing conventions. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's it.
Don't know. I'd like to see Mandalore be reunited.
Yeah, as Phil says, nothing like a clean helmet.
You'd know, Phil.
If that doesn't get us taken off the air, nothing will.
Hey.
As Paul Naylor points out, next 2 episodes should be Boba Fett centric.
Fair swap.
Yeah.
Like he says, he's owed 2 episodes, isn't he? So
Yeah.
Cobb Vanth, Max Rebo.
yeah, Max Rebo in a Mando helmet would be awesome.
Yeah. Play that same song.
It's difficult because I don't think there's anything been in the trailers that goes beyond this episode. Really, I think we've seen everything.
Just the Mando's dropping out of the dropship. So I think they're going to try and take Mandalore back somehow. I think maybe that could be the thing. It could be a battle for Mandalore. I don't know.
The two factions turn up and battle over the Chernobyl wasteland that is Mandalore. Brilliant.
I just don't get that Concordia's there that he grew up on, just within literally sight of the planet. And I forget the name where Bo-Katan's castle is, but she's within short distance of it, and none of them ever bothered to go and check it out.
They haven't got enough droids, Brian. They couldn't send droids off to be killed. I mean, they're not...
Always need more droids.
5-second job, that's all it took.
Yeah.
Just... There you go.
See, they need you ruling Mandalore, Brian.
I would rule it with a fist.
With an eye. Yeah, you'd send Dusty Bin down, wouldn't you? 3, 2, 1 off you, mate.
I would hope it was poisoned and just send all the droids there. Yeah.
No, because then all the droids would be like Terminator and come back and revolt and kill you, Brian.
There we go. Nick Knowles turns up in the rest of the series in a Mandalore makeover show.
That would work.
Send in Ty Pennington as well.
Nick Knowles, keeping the theme going. Nick Knowles, another guy that's been banned off the BBC.
Many of them have.
Yeah, so we're sitting here puzzled. We don't know where episode 3 is going to go. It's kind of interesting and exciting. I think previous criticisms of Mandalorian, it's been quite plodding and slow. Can't really say this about this series. It's kind of moving quick and all over the place, and we don't really know what's happening.
Hitting all the bullet points. I think we're going to have some other recurring characters, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think on that point we should probably wrap up the show. Mark, do you want to promote some podcasts? Have you got anything coming up this week?
Yeah, hopefully, if I have time, because work is crazy at the moment and site's ticking over like mad. So hopefully me and Mark are going to record the next episode of Making Tracks, and that should be, fingers crossed, out Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on scheduling and timing and time to edit and such. And then on Thursday, hopefully we'll record the next reaction chats for episode 3 of Mando Season 3, and that will be out either Friday, but probably Saturday. And then if I have enough time to get it finished, this Friday should see the next Start Your Engines with me and Mr. Guy in the comments there, Paul Naylor, talking about... Well, I won't say what we're talking about. I'll leave it until the episode comes out. But Matt will be very interested.
Oh. I know where it is because I think we spoke about it in last week's show.
Oh, well, there you go. Spoilers. It's all good.
It's going to be, without any spoilers, it's a Starfighter.
Possibly.
Oh, it was a pod racer. I want the rickshaw free, please.
Anyway, on that note, I think we should end the show. This is the longest running show yet. There's been a lot to speak about this week, and it's been good to catch up with you guys as well.
Yep.
And next time, I think the 3 of us will all be in the same place. It'll probably be Celebration. So look forward to it then.
4 weeks' time, guys. 4 weeks' time.
Countdown.
Less. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thanks everyone for your comments throughout the show. Always good to get your thoughts on the news as well. And we'll be back next Sunday for another recap of everything Star Wars. And we don't know what that'll be yet, but we'll certainly be discussing Mando Season 3, Episode 3. And it's going to be an exciting time for all of us, I think. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Boonta entries in, guys.
Get your Boontas
Yeah,
in.
get your Boonta
fantatracks.com/Boonta. Enter the competition.
Woo!
Good night.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on fantatracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at FanthaTracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow FanthaTracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.